New details tonight in the January 6th investigation. Earlier, I heard from the chairman of the House Select Committee investigating the riot, Benny Thompson. He tells me that phone calls with the Willard Hotel War Room, where a lot of Trump allies and aides to the former president were gathered, are a key part of the probe, and they're looking into, quote, anyone who was on them, meaning they may be looking at possible phone calls, including with the former president. This comes as the brutal nature of that riot was displayed once again. A 3-hour video has been released showing the battle between rioters and police during the insurrection, showing rioters spraying police with pepper spray, hitting them with a baton, and even stealing a shield from officers. Our next guest predicted the insurrection in a series of tweets more than 2 weeks before the riot on December 21st. This is what he wrote, quote, on January 6th, armed Trumpist militias will be rallying in D.C. at Trump's orders. It's highly likely that they'll try to storm the Capitol after it certifies Joe Biden's win. I don't think this has sunk in yet. Perspective now from the author of that tweet, extremism and political analyst and founding writer of the Hat Tip, Aria Kovler. Aria, your Twitter thread obviously proved to be terribly prescient. How was it that you were able to see what the American public, the U.S. military, law enforcement community were not able to see coming?
I think I've been keeping a very close eye on those forums and public spaces, open and public, where Trump's most hardcore supporters met and talked. And the one thing you've got to remember is that for several months, they had been absolutely convinced that Trump was going to win the election and win big. You know, he was going to win California, 40, 45 states. And then after election day, when obviously he lost, Trump continued to say, I won. And you're going to see soon. And they all believed him, but they didn't just believe that the election was stolen. They believed Trump had a plan to win. And they were any day now, it was going to be proved. And January the 6th was the last real day that you could keep that fantasy alive. And so when Trump himself summoned them to DC on January the 6th, this was really only going to go one way. These were people who were coming to DC expecting to watch Trump win somehow, whether that was by Congress somehow nevertheless deciding to make him the president and throw out the Biden votes, or whether it was by Trump using the military or perhaps the crowd themselves as the militia to basically storm Congress and install a dictatorship. So once they were there, and they were there because he called them there, I think it was only going to go one way.
And these threat streams you were seeing, they were publicly visible at the time, correct? I understand you thought a warning from you directly to the FBI wasn't necessary, but you were concerned enough to tweet about it. And I was looking at some of these tweets earlier today. They've been retweeted thousands of times now. So obviously it's had an impact.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'd say it never occurred to me to talk to the FBI or anybody, because to me it would be like calling up the inauguration parade to tell them that there was going to be rain. You know, this is something that was so obvious that the authorities would and should have known about. In fact, I spoke to other people after January 6th who said they did call the FBI with what they saw. So even if I had, I don't think it would have made really any difference.
And we showed some video in your introduction that the Justice Department released this past week of one of the battles between rioters and police at the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th. Was this the level of violence that you expected to see? We're looking at some of this now.
Absolutely. I mean, the truth is, I expected it to be worse. In some senses, I think the US got extremely lucky on January the 6th. The shooting never really started. And if it had, things might have really gone terribly worse. It's only, remember, the fluke of a couple of seconds and the good graces of Eugene Goodman, Officer Goodman, the mob didn't end up capturing senators. There were so many things that could have gone much worse than they did on January the 6th. And the level of violence that I saw was something horrifying to see, and the fact that it went on for so long also. But it was also a miracle that the shooting didn't really start. And if so, it might have been a bloodbath that day.
Absolutely. I mean, you can only imagine what would have happened if they had captured Mike Pence or Nancy Pelosi or Mitt Romney and all of those harrowing scenes. And Aria, we're coming up on the anniversary of January 6th, as you know, and there are midterm elections ahead in 2022. What sorts of things are being talked about online right now that are a cause for concern in the weeks ahead. What are you picking up on that maybe, once again, people here in the United States may not be, paying enough attention to?
If you go now into the kind of MAGA online spaces and the adjacent QAnon spaces, who are not exactly the same people, but there is some crossover, the vast majority of the conversation there is about the pandemic. It's all vaccines and mandates and masks. Probably the number one hate figure right now amongst that group, it isn't the President Biden, it isn't Vice President either, it's Anthony Fauci. They're absolutely obsessed with Fauci. The pandemic is a hoax. This is all a form of control. And frankly, what we've seen even before January the 6th is a lot of this right-wing violence directed at pandemic measures. The seizing of the state capitals in summer 2020, the Governor Whitmer plot. If it was me, that is where I would be concerned about the potential for future violence.
Ari Kovler, thanks very much for your time. We appreciate it. And hopefully officials in this country are heeding some of your warnings this time around. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.